Hello guys. So it's day 2 of recording a video about Spider-Man being a reality. Let's pick up from where we left. Well, I had, talked about a couple of things. Just a, general idea of how a Spider-Man can be real. Well, most of you must have seen the movie The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So there was an equation used in the first movie, which was known as the decay rate algorithm, which was given by Peter Parker to Dr. Connors, after which he became the Lizard, basically. But yeah, so just to remind you guys, this is the equation that was used, the decay rate algorithm. Well, it's a very complex equation basically. At first, I thought it might not be a real equation though, but turned out it is. Um, it's a combination of basically two different theorems. First one being Gompert's Mayhem law of mortality, that states the human death rate is the sum of an age dependent component and an age independent component. So, the age dependent component basically, exponentially increases with our age, but the age independent component, which is known as a Mayhem term, um, it's it's negligible. It's considered negligible most of the time because when the external causes of death are rare, when the death only happens or occurs naturally, the independent mortality component is not considered. The second theory is reliability theory of aging and longevity. This states that our body systems, will deteriorate with age if they're not taken care of and if they are redundant in irreplaceable elements. I hope you're understanding at least a bit. It also predicts it also predicts that late life mortality will decelerate and level off as we age. Um, well, it's to put it in a gist. I would say that Gompert's law of exponential increases in mortality rate with age, and the late life mortality plateau, or the reliability theory. It's mortality deceleration at higher ages. I hope that makes sense because it does to me. So yeah. Well, to move further, um, there are multiple things that I have come across about the abilities of Spider-Man, the real life Spider-Man would have, and how to actually, input them into that person. So, let's see. While I was studying for this, actually, I came across the concept of spider goats. Spider goats is basically a type of experimental goats, which are produced in, I think, some part of America. I mean, they started um, with this genetic engineering stuff. They started inserting a gene into the goat genome to produce an extra protein in their milk, which produces spider silk, which is basically used for multiple uses, because it's very expensive, first of all, and secondly, it's the tensile strength of spider silk is a lot. So, yeah, that's where it is used. So, And it's an example of genetic engineering or cross species genetics. You know, so um, it's not like we are or I am a mad scientist or whatever you call it. Trying something very very different. People have done it for their own benefit. So yeah. Okay, let me just tell you that. Okay, one by one, let me just tell you what are the abilities that Spider-Man would possess, or the things that he would need. You know, yeah. First of all, Spider-Man would have either arthropodal or molluscan muscles because those kind of muscles can exert more force per square centimeter than human muscles. As Spider-Man has obviously much more strength than a normal human being. So he needs more stronger bones, stronger muscles, ligaments, tendons, cartilage, and skin, obviously. So the type of muscles he need won't be human muscles. We would have to extract the arthropodal muscles or molluscan muscles from the native um, species, from the native species, and then use that gene somehow to insert into that human being who we are trying to make the Spider-Man, basically. So yeah, that's the first thing. I'm just briefing you guys about all the stuff. Okay, I'll get into the deeper stuff later on when you've gotten a bit more understanding about all of it. Yeah. So the second thing is the regeneration capability. You know, Spider-Man obviously had I wouldn't say as quick as the Lizard had it or Dr. Connors had it. Just in a flinch, he would just grow a tail back or a limb back. Not that, obviously. But yeah, the power of regeneration. We could use axolotl, which is a type of salamander, basically. He or it can produce or grow any part of his body, including the head, whenever it is cut off. So it's sort of immortal. It dies of an old age, but I have to get deeper into it because if I just use this general idea that it can regenerate its own cells and tissues and organs, so how can it basically die? I mean, even if the old age part we consider, so I mean, the humans die because we cannot regenerate at such an exponential rate. you know our organs, our cells do regenerate, time to time, but the deterioration rate is much higher when the old age strikes. So if we talk about the axolotl, uh, I think the regeneration rate is maybe not as high as the deterioration rate. Maybe I don't know yet. I don't know yet, but yes, I have. I'll study about it. I'm still curious about it. So yeah, there's that's the second thing, the regeneration ability that we need to put in a Spider-Man. So yeah, the third ability is being shock-proof. Shock-proof as in if he strikes or if he hits a pavement or a brick, a wall, or something like that, his body should absorb the shock basically, in a better way than a human would. So that we can actually, extract from that ability we can extract from the woodpecker's beak. Because see, they have tau proteins, tau proteins, which are found in brain cells and stabilizes the internal microtubules. of the woodpecker, obviously. These proteins play a major role in preventing degeneration, because of the shock and everything. So that's the third thing that we can use from a different species. Well, okay. The fourth thing being, due to tactile hair across the body, you know, the Spider-Man has to have very, very, very little tactile hairs across the whole body. Some might be visible, some might not be, but yeah. So due to more tactile hair across the whole body, more nerve impulses would be sent to his brain, you know, and spiders have basically around 6 times more hair than a human would per centimeter of skin. So that means, as the nerve impulses would be much, much, much faster than a human being, so the brain would react to, different changes, basically changes in the surroundings. As the Spider-Man in the movie, we have seen he has a spidey sense, right? So that's that actually. That's because of the tactile hairs across the body. Because I hope you understood the concept. So yeah. So the next part being four, we have done four, right? Yeah, we've done four things right till now. The fifth one being, as humans can hear up to 0 decibels. I mean, if you talk about the low frequency of sound, but there's trichopthoria, trichopthoria. It's type of bacteria basically, which can detect sounds as low as -10 decibels. Uh, I mean, see, these bacteria are found in very bright areas. Uh, okay, let me just put it into easier, or easier words, which might be much more easy to understand for everyone. So these species can sense electromagnetic field changes around them, which is obviously not very humane. So yeah, that's the fifth thing we can actually use. um, yeah, so like these are the main things that Spider-Man would require, and obviously the main part that we obviously haven't forgotten about, the spider that he shoots out of his wrists, as in the first Spider-Man movie ever. You know, Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man who can shoot webs out of his wrist without a web shooter, as seen in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. So yeah, that thing. So for that, a very different gene is responsible uh, in the spider species, which I haven't studied yet. I guess yes, I haven't. So what's next? Yeah, I would say, well, there are multiple types of spider silk genes. Okay, like the type of silk actually are of 7 types. I mean, based on their structures. First one being acneiform. It's shaped like a cluster of grapes, acneiform. Okay. Second one being ampullate. Uh, it's like it has a dilated end towards one side, to the minor side basically. Third one being pyriform. Fourth one is tubuliform. Fifth one is dragline silk. Sixth one is flagelliform silk, and the seventh one being aggregate silk. These are just names of different types of silks. There are actually, So yeah. um, well, I guess this is enough for today. because further on I have very detailed you know study about every little ability we talked about. Basically, for example, we talked about regeneration in axolotl, right? So yeah, so I have like, I don't know how much information on this, that part, does that ability of the organism. So yeah, we'll get into the detailed part in the next episode. And I hope whoever has watched this video has understood at least 70%, if not the complete part. So yeah, stay tuned for all the episodes that are about to come. We'll talk about the axolotl and his ability to regenerate, and how it does it, and how we can actually use that in the Spider-Man in the next episode. So yeah, thank you. Bye bye.